Alright guys, the market's been down for a couple of weeks. I'm personally down 6 figures of net worth. A lot of people I know are down 6 figures of net worth. No one really has been making money in the last couple of weeks. Maybe a couple of meme coins have shot up, and there seems to be a little bit of hope that's being lost, a little bit of questioning going on. I am going to fix that for you. By the end of this video, you are going to have nothing but confidence in yourself and also in the market over the long term. So let's jump in and make sure you know how to make money no matter what the market is doing. Let's start with the Bitcoin chart here. You can see we're currently at 63,15789. It's a pullback from its 74, I believe it hit, somewhere up there. You can see it's not really a pullback when you zoom out on this graph. I say zoom out as I'm zooming in, but in the sense that you get the context of the pullback, people are acting like this is the end of the world. Look at this little dip. And better yet, look at the tiny little dip here on the Bitcoin long-term power law graph chart of this little thing that has shaken a lot of people. This whole lost 6 figures thing, that's what this little dot is. So just imagine how many 6 figures we're gonna get as this thing shoots up. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the long-term thesis, and let's talk about what to do in a down market to make money and what to do in an up market, a bull market, to make money as well. So I personally think if you zoom out far enough and you're a believer in the revolution of Bitcoin, you know that Bitcoin is going to get to $10 million in the next 2 to 20 years, somewhere in that time frame. Now, is it going to be volatile? Yes, that's the cost that you pay in order to get the insane amount of reward back. If you don't have a risk appetite, you can't get the reward. Now, if you want to know why am I so convinced that Bitcoin is eventually going to be at $10 million and how do you get the same conviction, I recommend 2 things. Firstly, the Bitcoin Standard by Safadine Amus. I don't know if I'm saying his name 100% right, but it's spelled up here for you. You can get the audiobook, you can get this. He also has a course. His course is probably easier to digest, but the microphone wasn't great. I highly recommend the audiobook over anything, or if you can read, which hopefully we can all read, but if you enjoy reading, get the physical book or the actual Kindle version. This was the book that convinced Michael Saylor to get into Bitcoin. And now Michael Saylor went back and did the foreword for it. I don't really know anyone who's read this book and is not convinced that Bitcoin is the answer. We don't have to go into details there. That's extra reading for you if you want it. The second thing I would recommend is coming and watching this Michael Saylor podcast series, the Saylor series. This is episode 1 here with Robert Breedlove. You can see it is 18 different episodes here. By the end of this, you'll be utterly convinced that Bitcoin is going to $10 million a coin and beyond. Now, this is where the fun begins. So if Bitcoin is eventually going to be at the $10 million level, our job is just to buy as much Bitcoin or altcoins as possible while we can. And this is where the crypto whip, I updated our graphic for us over here. You can see this is the whip. If you don't know the whip yet, basically Bitcoin moves first. The handle of the whip is where you juice the actual momentum when you crack a whip, but the handle is the slowest part that moves. The end of the whip actually breaks the speed of sound. That's what that whip, the bang, is when you actually have a whip. And Bitcoin is the handle, and the tiny microcaps, the gaming, the AI tokens, the ICOs, the IDOs, all the launches are where you get the most risk and most volatility. That's where you can get the 100x's, but you can't get them. If Bitcoin's going down, well, the tail of the whip will eventually go down and a lot more. So for example, say you get a 2x on Bitcoin, something in here like a Sandbox or a Casper might get a 4x. Maybe a Beam might get an 8x, PAL might get a 20x, and Exceed Me might 100x. But as you've seen, the pullbacks in this sort of market where Bitcoin hasn't retraced that much, it's come down from 74 to 63, nothing crazy, but something like PAL has halved or even more, a retracement of 60%. And so this is the fun. We know that this handle is eventually going to be getting up to that $10 million point. Well, let's all enjoy ourselves down at the tail end of the whip, not with all of our money. A lot of the money should be in the Bitcoin because that's just the consistent up and to the right when you zoom out far enough. But we can have some fun in the meantime with the $1 million to $10 million market cap range to see if we can get 100x and then siphon those profits back up into Bitcoin. But the thing I've been studying, because I did last bull market, but not well. You know, I was new to the scene, and this time I want to do things a lot differently. And what I'm uncovering is that bull markets happen insanely fast. And you can see it's a CDFI price, and they did really well in the last bull market, going from 50 cents up to $16. So that's a nice 32x for you. But you can see it's just hovering down here at 70 cents, pulled back to 50 cents, pulled back to 37 cents. So that's that 50% dip that we might even be feeling now. And then all of a sudden overnight, it went from 40 cents popped up to 94, so 2x. And then you're like, oh wow, maybe I'll take profits here. Look at the scale, that's a 2x right there. For our tokens 2x, you'd be like, oh, this could be it. But no, look at the scale of what came next. So then they went from 80 cents to $4.50, and then they hovered there again, pulled back. You know, you had a big pullback here from $4.50 down at the low here to $2.90. Again, that's like getting shaken out of the market. If you just held, you'd be at $10, and then you'd end up at $16. Now, let's talk about this as well. This is the less exciting part that not as many people talk about. It comes down the other side also very quickly. So we need to know when to get out. And I know the time's not now. Now, even though we may be in a long-term bull market, meaning on a 10-year time frame, Bitcoin will be at $10 million, within that you can get some insane downward volatility, and you definitely want to cycle out of these end of the whip sort of tokens back into something less volatile, maybe USDC or maybe Bitcoin, because otherwise it's going to drop pretty quick. But we're not going to talk about that now. Dogecoin, look how quick this accelerated at, we're just going to call it 4 cents, 4.5 cents here, doubled up to 10 cents. And then up here, 5x'd, and people are like, wow, 7x, there you go. And people are like, well, that was it. No, look at this. In a period of a couple of weeks, it absolutely skyrocketed, went crazy. And we've talked about this on the channel before, added $90 billion to the market cap in a matter of weeks. So these things happen quickly. So for me, I don't mind a 60% pullback. I don't mind a 40% pullback, because I know it's more like a binary mining for gold. You can not find gold for 3 weeks in a row and then come across a giant gold nugget and make $6 million. And that's sort of how I equate this bull market that is going to be coming to crypto, especially based on everything I've been reading so far in this nice downtime. You know, we've got a little downtime where it's not crazy. We're like, oh my God, do we sell? There's less stress, especially if you haven't overexposed yourself to the market. Axie Infinity skyrocketed all the time. And once again, you got to know when to get out. Is this jump where you get out? Is that one? Is that one? Is that one? And then really quick down the other side. What do I personally think you should do? I think you should dollar cost average. I think if it goes up, take out 30%. If it goes up again, take out 30%. It goes up again, take out 30%. Another 30% here, and then it's going down pretty quick. I don't know, you can ride it to the ground, or you can take some losses and potentially miss another. Maybe you take all your money out here at, say, $82, which is still like a 16, 17x, but you've missed out on a 32x, which, okay, maybe that's fine. As long as you've made a couple $1 million, put it in the side. That's great. That's a win. Vulcan Forge was the same. This is in the gaming bull run of last cycle. You can see when you do zoom in, it looks way more consistent up and to the right. You can see this was July to December. And a lot of people don't realize they're in a bull market until, you know, they're here. They're like, wait a second. If we go back, it's gone up a lot, but it's gone up consistently over time. Now, what happens in a down market? So when things are coming down the other side, let me zoom out, get some scale on this thing. It goes from $41 down to, I'm guessing, about $2 down here, $2.40. What are you doing during that time? Because a lot of people are sitting around waiting for the bull market to make them really rich. Maybe you've got a day job, maybe you're an entrepreneur and you work online, but you're not really trying that hard because you're like, oh, the bull run is about to come and it's about to make me multiple 7 figures. I don't really need to do much. Well, this is my advice to you. While the markets are quiet, while we're getting these pullbacks, please work on your business, work on your cash flow, work on things that you have control over, because you want to feed that money into something like Bitcoin, into something like crypto, and make your returns 20 times bigger. I saw these funny memes going around that, like, after the halving, you think you're just going to be soaring past 100 grand, soaring into the 100, 200 grand level, and it was all going to be up and to the right. And then in reality, you know, you're floating around that 60 grand. You're getting these pullbacks, and it's not really just that up and to the right that everyone expected. Well, this could actually be perfect for us, because the longer it takes to have this massive exponential boom, which it could go from 60 grand to 250 grand Bitcoin, and all your altcoins could 10x, 30x, and you could print 200 grand to $2 million, which is life-changing for a lot of people. But what if it took 6 months, and you have a 6-month runway to build your business, to work and hustle, make many hours, sell whatever furniture you're not using, get that cash, put it in. If you can increase your cash flow for the next 6 months by 10, 20, 30 grand a month, you could be putting that into crypto, and then when it booms in 6 months' time, you could be coming home with $4 to $40 million. If that sounds insane, you're just not thinking big enough, because there's a lot of people who are out there doing it. So why not you? And for me, on these pullbacks, we are working on our crypto software, which its name is Archie. You can come and follow it over here on X or Twitter. It's only got 8 followers at the moment, so we are just launching it. You can also come over to the brand new website to investigate the project and see if it can inspire you to create something maybe in the crypto space. So when these pullbacks happen, we're building, and when the pullbacks stop happening and we go up and to the right, absolute skyrocket, we're printing.